Hey tenor drummers! In this edition of my Learn This Lick series, we are going to be taking a look at the 2018 Blue Devils quad feature. I want to thank Mr. Waters and Orozco for recommending this one because it is a very fun lick. If you haven't seen the backstory, definitely check out the Blue Devils video on it. It talks about how it's based off of an Indian Konnakol rhythm, and that just makes it so much cooler. There is a split part to this lick as well, so feel free to get a buddy and you guys can figure out how to do the split part together. We also have some stick flips in this lick, so definitely check out the video I just made on stick flips to make sure you have all of that muscle memory down before you jump into this one. The transcription on LotHype is by Alan Edwards, and while it's very accurate, it's almost unreadable. It actually hurts my brain to even look at it. But luckily, we can rewrite any piece of music in 4/4 and group the notes together in a much easier way to read. So that's what I did. In the description, you'll find a link to my easy to learn version of this lick. And of course, with all tenor music, you want to learn this one on one drum first, then learn it around, and then add in all the flashy stuff, okay? So don't try to just jump into the part as written with all the stick flips and everything. Definitely piece it together. Make sure you have all those rhythms locked down first. And before we get started, please take a second and hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. It really helps me out with those YouTube algorithms. And if there's a lick that you want to learn, leave a comment and let me know. This channel is all about you guys, so definitely let me know what you want to learn. All right, go ahead and grab your sticks, your metronome, your pad, and let's learn this lick. So let's go ahead and start at the first measure. You see we have some flams here, and they're basically just going down the drums. We have the first one with the grace note on the high shot drum, and then all the rest have the grace note on the low shot drum. So we start on drum 1, 2, 3, 4. It's pretty easy there. Of course, once you get this down, you're gonna add the floating and all the other extra stuff. But for right now, when we're just learning it, let's just keep it nice and easy and just play some regular flams. 1, 2. Third measure, we have a little paradiddle diddle, and it goes from drum 1 to the low shot, ending on the high shot. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 and 4. That left is it's really like a shot, and the Blue Devils guys bring their hand down. So again, you could add that in once you get this in your hand. So the first 3 measures, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4. The fourth measure, we play a right note on drum 1, count 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we do some skanks there on the drum 4 with our right hand. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Fifth measure, start of the second line, we do another skank on the and of 1, and then on count 3, we play the low shot. And then here's kind of the start of the split pattern. We're going to be playing some paradiddles and paradiddle diddles. Before we get into the split part, let's go ahead and run the first 5 measures with the metronome. We're going to do 110 beats per minute. Here we go, first 5 measures. 1, 2, ready, go. 1. Here's kind of the start of the split pattern. We're going to be playing some paradiddles and paradiddle diddles. So again, this is a split part, so get a buddy and you guys can look at the second page of the music for the split around. But for right now, we're just going to play all the notes, keep it nice and straightforward. The split part basically starts on count 4 of measure 5. We start on drum 4 with our left hand, and then it's kind of a repetitive pattern, but the first version of it is slightly different. So we play 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. So that's kind of the pattern. All right? And we're just going to repeat that pattern around. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we do the same thing, but the right hand goes down to drum 3 for that paradiddle, and then goes back up to drum 1. Then we do that again. And then we finish it off with a right shot on the high shot drum, and a left rim shot on the low shot drum. Just for continuity, let's start on count 4 of measure 5, just because that's really when the pattern starts. And so we'll start on count 4, and then we'll play that through to the right shot, left shot, and then the left release on measure 9. All right, here we go. Starting on count 4 of measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're playing all those paradiddles and paradiddle diddles, you might get a little lost in there. So there's a nice checkpoint for that second round of the pattern where you go to drum 3 on the right hand. That's right on the downbeat of count 4. And then the left paradiddle is on the downbeat of count 1 of measure 7. So use those as checkpoints to make sure you're still locked in right with the metronome. Of course, you're going to be playing this on one drum first before you move it around. All right, so let's keep going. Measure 9, we have 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 and. So the first part is just our paradiddles with the downbeat on drum 3 and then drum 4. And then we have a right flam on drum 1, and then the right hand comes up to the high shot. And 4 and 4 and. So 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. Next measure, we start on the and of 1, and these are some right notes. The first one is a flam. 1 and 2 and 2 and. So those last two rights are crossed down on drum 4. And to finish out measure 10, we have another right flam on drum 1 up to the shot again, the high shot. So it's very similar to the end of measure 9 where we did that same exact thing. Okay, so 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now something that I did when I was first learning this, I was not giving that count 3 of measure 10 a rest. I was just jumping right to count 4. So make sure you have a full count and a half of rest in measure 10 before you go 4 and 1. So let's try those two measures together. Measures 9 and 10. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 3, 4, and 1. So measure 11, we have a downbeat on the high shot with the right hand, and then we have a left flam with our left hand crossed on drum 2, right hand grace note is down on drum 4. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and. The and of 3 on drum 1 with the right hand, and then we have a left hand on drum 2 on the and of 4. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. All right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now this is, again, where we're supposed to be floating our right hand, and we got some stick flips in here and everything, but don't worry about the stick flips. You can add those in when you get this in your hand, so focus playing just the notes as written, and then we'll add in all the flashy stuff. All right? Then we have some flams in measure 12, starting on the and of 1, over on drum 3, with the grace note on the low shot. Then we bring our right hand over to drum 4, and then a left flam on drum 4. With the grace note being on the low shot the whole time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. So again, we have a count and a half of rest in measure 12, just like in measure 10. So make sure you're giving it that full amount of rest. Okay. Again, I wanted to skip over the quarter note rest and just jump right into that left hand. So let's try measures 9 through 12. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. more time. 1, 2, ready, go. So now that you got the part in your hands, we can go ahead and add these little stick flips in. But basically on the and of 4 in measure 11 and on measure 12, we have a little right half side flip. And the way to really make this look sharp is to have your hand catch the stick right as your left hand is playing. All right, you want those to match up. Almost like a double stop, even though I'm not quite getting the double stop, but you get what I'm saying. So on measure 11, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See how that works? 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then measure 12, we have and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so just work on those until you get nice and comfortable with it. Now let's take a look at measure 13. So measure 13, this kind of flows into measure 14, so we'll just look at both of them together. It's not too bad. We just have some 16th notes on the high shot drum, basically. So we start on the and of 1 with the left on drum 2. And we go up to the high shot, 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 and. So that and of 2 in measure 14 goes to the low shot. And then we have 3 rights, 3 and 4. We're going to do some left stick flips there, but let's just hold off for now. So measure 13 and 14 sounds like this. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and. Continuing on, measure 15 does that same pattern we just did in measure 14. 1 and 2 and 3. The right hand playing those last 3 notes. And then finish off with another 4 and on the high and low shot drums. So let's try those 3 measures together. Measure 13, 14, and 15, and then we'll add in the stick flips. 1, 2, ready, go. 1. All right, so now we're gonna add the left stick flips in. This isn't too bad since our right hand is playing those 2 eighth notes and then the quarter note, so it gives us plenty of time to just focus on our left hand and getting that flip down. So we're gonna have, let's see, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. Now these, just try to do your best. If it doesn't line up right when you hit a right hand note, that's fine. As long as you're just getting the stick flip down, it'll look pretty good. All right, so just practice that until you get nice and comfortable with it. Let's go ahead and add those stick flips in with the metronome, measures 13, 14, and 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So measure 16, we're gonna start on drum 1 with the right hand, and then we're gonna do 2 lefts. So 1 and 2, with the left hand going from drum 2 to the high shot. And when we're doing that, we're going to do a little pancake spin here with the right hand. So it's going to be 1 and 2, and then our right hand comes down for count 3 on the low shot drum. And then we have 4, 1. 4, 1 with the left hand. And during that, we're going to do our little angled flip. So let's just try that. So we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. So, and after you catch that flip, you're in a great position to bring your right hand over down to drum 4 for count 2. And then we have 3 E and a 4 with our couple drags on the low shot going up to the high shot. Measures 16 and 17 would be 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. And I do want to point out that count 3 on the low shot starts with the left hand, okay? 3 and a 4. And then the downbeat of measure 18 is going to be a left shot on the low shot drum. So let's go ahead and try measures 13 through 17 with that release on downbeat of 18. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 1, So the last 2 lines, starting with measure 18, we have that downbeat on the low shot, and then we have another right cross down on drum 4, and then we have a little sweep pattern that kind of repeats itself. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 E and A. So just some outward sweeps from drum 2 to 1, 1 to 2. So not too bad there. And then our release is on the high shot drum. And then we play that pattern again in measure 19. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and a 4 E and. So in that measure, that same exact pattern starts on the and of 2 with, instead of on the downbeat of 3 like it did in measure 18. And then measure 19, we do that pattern again starting on count 2. 1, 2, and 3 E and 4. All right? So measures 18, 19, and 20, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 E and 1, 2, and 3, and 4 E and 1, 2, and 3 E and 4. All right? So let's try that with the metronome. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4 E and 1, 2, and 3, and 4 E and 1, 2, and 3 and 4. All right, measure 21, 22, and 23 are kind of a similar thing. We're going to be playing the exact same thing, but just shifting when we start that pattern, all right? So you can see we have a rest on counts 1 and 2, and then we have a roll, but the roll is 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So the release is that of 4. So of course, you're probably used to releasing with the right hand after rolls, and maybe on a downbeat, but this releases on the of count 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 and a. And then measure 22, we do that same thing, but 1, 2, and a 3 and a 4 E. 1, 2, and a 3 and a 4 E. So we're ending on the E of 4. And then measure 23, we start on count 2. 1, 2 E and a 3 and a. The roll ends on the of 3 and without a drag, okay? It's just a regular 16th note. And then measure 24, we have 1, 2 E and a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then the whole battery comes in and they start ramming a bunch of notes. So let's go ahead and try measures 21 to the end. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2. And that's it. So definitely go ahead and work on any sections that are giving you trouble. Isolate any counts or measures or transitions from one measure to another. Just isolate those, break them down, make sure you're totally locked in with your metronome, and then let's start doing some run-throughs. And of course, as you get more comfortable with it, you can get a lot more elaborate with the floating and the flips and stuff like that, but feel free to take those out until you get comfortable with it. And of course, play this on one drum first to make sure you're getting all the rhythms down before you try it around. All right, great job. Let's go ahead and do some runs. 110 beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2. .20 beats per minute. 1, 2, and. 130 beats per minute. 1, 2, and 1, 2. 140. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. 150. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 160. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. 170. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 180. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 190. 1, 2, and 1, 2, here we go. 190. beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2.